Welcome back to Easily Entertained, and welcome back to Tell Me Everything 4. I'm your host, Ash, and I'm joined by Slater.
Hello!
As we are rapidly entering the final stage of the series, it's time to realise that maybe some of our favourite characters are heading down a darker path than we once expected. Off the heels of the last episode where it got as dramatic as it possibly could, Johnny finally realised that he was grieving his dad and spoke with his family. But this alternatively meant he was no longer supposed to see May. He has now realised that she was lying the whole time about her dad being dead. Which leaves Johnny upset as the one person he confided in, beyond his dad, lied about something so huge. How will he respond to once again being alone? Yeah, not well. Not well at all. Good luck, Johnny. May doesn't understand why Johnny's blanking her, and doesn't even know that Johnny's found out that her dad isn't dead. What's she gonna get up to in the meantime? Louis and Zaya are no longer seeing each other as Louis got nervous when it came to the sex and busted out that X-rated lexicon, calling Zaya a slut and coming across as a dumb kid who has watched way too much porn. After a conclusive chat where they've decided to not try with one another, will Zaya strive for more personal success? And will Louis finally feel comfortable being himself? Neve is struggling as she's finally comprehended the extent of her crush on Johnny, which she now feels compelled to either tell him, or at least maybe just not say anything but be really sheepish. It's at the point where she either says it or just is really, really uncomfortable because she's only just went, bollocks, yeah, it is right, isn't it? This is how it's working now. Yeah, it's the uncomfortable situation where you've had this long-standing crush, but you don't really, you can't tell if, will it just ruin a really good really good friendship for a possible, crap relationship? You know, it's kind of that, do I, don't I type situation.
We're friends. In a friendship, you can just leave people, not really give a fuck. In a relationship, you're gonna have to. Leaving people becomes a lot more of a struggle.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty rough situation right now. And Reagan has continued to do absolutely nothing, leaving us very little to go on. Most interesting thing is that in the last episode, she was talking about how she left a girlfriend because the girlfriend wanted to move a bit more forward in their relationship than she were. And this made me go, is there something holding her back? Or is there someone she's prioritizing more? There we are.
Or the fact her girlfriend looked like Ronda Rousey.
He did. And yeah, that's some breadcrumbs for you. Cheeky bit of foreshadowing. And if that wasn't conclusive enough for you, I can offer you one very simple solution. Watch the last episode. Come on. It's right there.
Kick off the episode as we were in church. But not any church. Neve's church with a choir. Reagan's advising her to finally tell Johnny how she feels. Johnny knows that he's clearly doing rough. He talks about how May lied about her dad being dead. And how much of the lie actually means. His current coping method is smoking weed and posting on dark days. Anything to keep him out of his head. Louis has been applying for gym jobs, trying to do something different, with a fresh side parting in his hair, looking rather fly, I must say. He's decided that he wants to live in the moment. He's making a whole new Louis.
Louis 2.0, baby. 2.0. This Louis wouldn't steal a car, would he?
They bump into Zaya and Reagan, where they plan to go to Nav's rave, a party with a secret location that's not revealed till shortly before. During lesson, Johnny is distracting Neve as he says smoke, but just distracts her from the lesson. This is emphasized when she is asked a question by the teacher but doesn't have a clue. It would appear that her education has been struggling due to her recent realization. The teacher keeps her after class and questions her priorities. The teacher says that they want her to be the head of an open day and compares Neve to her sister. Bad move. Then, worse move, as the teacher says, but as she's proven, there's no reason why someone like you can't get into a really good university. Which is followed up by an uncomfortable fist bump. It's the line. It's in any show when it's the line like you or someone like you or you people. It's just
Yes.
not a good thing to include in anything because it has such racist overtones when it's said to someone who's not white.
Yeah, it's I mean, first, the issue is she brings up her sister, who at this point Neve is not friendly with, because, you know, Neve's sister is pretty much the other big issue with Neve, in that she's internalized all of this, well, because she's supposed to do exactly what her sister did, pretty much. Yeah, and, you know, growing up, especially if the sister's not, or especially if, like, whatever, like, sibling's not there, you don't have them to kind of offset all of that, like, all of those expectations, you know? So they just become more of an idea rather than an actual person. So that's, you know, that would antagonize anyone. And then even just this teacher doesn't even care about Neve. She just wants her to be the face of bloody Open Day. Like, man. And that fist bump is the most agonizing thing in the series.
It's the way it slowly leans up to, and I'm like, oh, fuck off.
That fist bump is possibly the worst thing in the series.
Louis 2.0 gets involved in the Nav's rave group chat as Neve asks Johnny if he wants to hang out. She's upset when Johnny says no.
Clown shoot. As Johnny is working and handing out flyers, he runs into May, who asks him if she bought a cat costume, would he give her some attention? Apparently, he hasn't been avoiding her, and she asks if they are okay. He struggles to deal with this and wants to confront her over her dead dad, but then tries to get a break from Reagan, which she refuses. But she does learn that Johnny and May broke up, though. Yeah, this is a difference between May and Johnny's way of dealing with things. May will happily hide the truth, but like cover up her lies. But Johnny will just not even acknowledge it at all, unless he really has to. Neve and Louis get back to her place, but they're rudely interrupted by Neve's sister. They have a heated argument with her as Neve's sister Timmy is back because their parents think Neve is out of control. This argument gets interrupted as Neve reads that Johnny and May have broken up. She's like, oh no, that's such a shame, as she's got like a grin the size of molasses on her face.
Size of who?
She is beaming. Neve has to go get her keys from Timmy, who is getting her hair done. The old team knees and a few like key things. They say, hey, you should wear your hair natural. And hey, you should find a nice boy, not like Johnny. And then go, Marcus from church? Who, I don't know if it is the guy who's playing the bass, but I think it's the guy who's playing the bass.
Well, the thing is, they say Marcus from church, but never say who the fuck Marcus is. We know he's from church.
At least
that narrows it down to about 120 people.
At least it's not Jonathan from church.
Oh, good heavens.
Gotta run up and spray him. Neve also learns that Timmy is having an affair with a married man called Nathan. And this acts as a bit of vindication, as Neve feels a bit more like reasonable in her like grievances about Timmy. And May is in the counselor's office and is asking Mr. Horrocks about lying. She says, who suffers the most? The person being lied to for believing them, or the liar? And then Mr. Horrocks just kind of goes, which one are you? And she says both. I'll be honest, I didn't really understand this scene. Like, I'm trying to like figure it out, but I also don't know if I'm applying my like future logic in the show to this. Because I'd imagine. No, you say you're. Yeah.
The way I would describe it is like she's got the one side where she's lying to Johnny.
Yeah.
And the other side where she's been lied to by her mum and her dad. That he was not there, but he is.
But I also applied it to, does she believe that because Johnny's not really opening up as much as he did initially. Like, and because he is posting on like dark days and like kind of just not really. Does she believe that Johnny's also lying to her when he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm all fine. Is that like a bit of, I don't know, does she feel a bit more justified in it because Johnny's not really being honest about it?
Well, yeah, but it's not the easiest thing to be honest about, is it?
No. But I don't know, it's maybe someone out there will have actually understood this scene, but I just got kind of confused. Like, I understand certain aspects, but like everything, it doesn't really click.
Andrew is back! And he says, maybe you shouldn't be so open about smoking drugs, like crack. He asks about Johnny and May and tells them that they need to try some new things. Dirty bastard. This conversation ends abruptly as Johnny shuts him down, but mentally decides to experiment and figure out who they are.
Just Johnny, though. May is not in the picture right now.
They did skill as Louis is nervous and wants to go back. Weed isn't the one they're looking for, nor is the Adderall that Louis can get from someone down the road who got too much prescription. So they get pilled up by pineapples, and so does Louis 2.0. Neve tries to ask about May, but Johnny says that he is a-okay about it, as Louis is furiously waving some tongs at the pan au chocolat.
Yeah, I suppose, just in case it's not clear enough, normal Louis does not do drugs whatsoever.
Louis 2.0 Phil.
Exactly.
Ho-ho.
Side part and looking fucking fresh. He's monged out of his brain. Okay, what? What drugs are they on?
Eckies.
As the easy entertained drugs expert.
That's all pineapple. All that they've ever gotten from pineapples is Eckies, so I'm assuming he just sells Eckies.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Sarah the shop worker asks if he wants a hand, as they agree to meet up in 5, and share some of those pills. May is cyber stalking Johnny, and wants to hang out, but is lied to as he says helping his mum out in the pub. May's mum walks in and says don't stop, and then drops the fact that Johnny came to the house, which makes May panic like a bastard, as she demands to know what she said. Neve, Johnny, Louis and Sarah are chilling and drinking lakeside, and Sarah has taken a liking to Louis. She strips off and heads into the water, and Louis follows, forgetting that Louis 2.0 goes commando. He does get the airstrip, does he not?
Some say, as you hear him run down to the lake, all you hear is...
Johnny realizes that he's been a bad friend to Louis, and starts saying how you should know what happens in the lives of people you care for. Neve suggests love, and he says you know you always do. For a second it looks like they're going to kiss, but then Sarah and Louis 2.0 start necking it in the water. Johnny gets up and starts screaming for Louis.
Neve gets back home pissed and finds Timmy FaceTiming their dad. She feels upset when the dad keeps saying how she should follow Timmy's example, which sets a very drunk Neve off. She implies that Timmy has been seeing Nathan. And who's Nathan? It's Timmy's boss. Oh. The dad's not buying it. And Timmy's like, yeah, that's why I call him so much. It's because he's my boss. Yeah.
Yeah,
Neve expresses how much it hurts to be continually compared to her overbearing, high-achieving sister. And Timmy goes to bed, but leaves with a, is this who you want to be? And then just make sure you stay alive till mum and dad get back. And yeah, this completely rattles Neve. And yeah, no one else does it like her. Because you want to know what Neve does when she can't really handle things too well?
Drugs.
Indeed. Louis wakes up in Sarah's bed and he cannot remember a thing about last night other than the lake. To which Sarah gives him 3 facts about last night, and one of them is a lie. Number 1. Louis tried to bring a swan onto the bus. Number 2.
Number 2.
Louis and Sarah had wild sex.
Number 3.
Louis spent an hour telling Sarah's old neighbour about why Moana is just the best film. He realises that number 2 is most likely a lie, and Sarah calms his nerve by saying, yeah, nothing happened. Which leads to my line of the episode and possibly line of the series. As Sarah goes, I mean, I woke up with you like a can of Monster against my bum. And I was like, hello, but then realized you were asleep.
Personally, if I woke up, there was a lad with a cock the size of a can of Monster, I'd fucking shit myself. But that's not going to me. Like,
no.
That's no. I can't eat it.
I
can't.
Sarah's amazing. Love Sarah.
Yeah, I hate that she's probably not going to be in any more of the series.
Yeah, I don't. As far as I remember, I don't think so. Unfortunately.
Like, well, unless like they bump into her in the shop, that's like the only theory where she's actually in more of it, other than these few scenes.
Yeah, but you know, she's fun. But hey, she says maybe tonight will be different. Gives him a smooch, and Louis, already hungover, goes, "Oh," because he remembers that it's Nav's secret rave. Reagan and Zaya end up lost looking for location and bump into May. May's outfit is fucking
so good.
sick. It's all... Oh, God. She made an effort. Yeah.
She wasn't such an arsehole. I think it was a great outfit.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's all like pink with like the glow sticks. Oh, it's great. It's great. One thing that's fun to see out of the three is that Zaya's actually the most nervous going into this raid. Which, as far as we know, Zaya, she's supposed to be like the really extroverted, like public-facing influencer confidence. So, they meet up with Louis, who is fully seshed out. He's got a bucket hat, he's got an oversized shirt. Mate, he's absolutely vibing. Sarah, who bought him shots, to which he says, "Yeah, I told you I was never drinking again." And, you know, she just Sarah downs him anyways, because she's vibing. And Reagan and Zaya catch the, "Hey, babe," that Sarah threw out there. And Reagan's like, "Oh."
Happened a bit quickly, really, didn't it?
Yeah. Louis ends up essentially saying, "Listen, alright, this was fun, but everything you saw of me wasn't actually me. I don't really do drugs. I don't really drink. I'm just going to leave. I want my bed." And Sarah's like, "Oh, well, bartender was pretty flirty, so..." And yeah, we now somewhat say goodbye to Sarah, who, I'll be honest, it's between her and Neve's dad.
Johnny and Neve toast a pill and start dancing, and we cut back to the three girls still at the bar getting tequila. Zaya sees that Louis left, and Reagan says sorry about you and Johnny, which May doesn't take too well. The music slows down whilst Johnny and Neve seem to be in sync with each other. They nearly kiss, but she turns around for one moment and Johnny's been distracted by May. They argue and May is fed up. She said, "If you're pissed off, talk to me." Johnny says that her lie was the worst thing she could have lied about. But she's just angry at him saying that it wasn't the worst thing. Imagine having a dad who doesn't want to know you and denies that you exist. She calls him a coward and a big baby. As he reels, just breathing it all in. He never thought of himself as a coward and just says, "I've just never been brave enough to admit it."
What a lie.
Yeah, it's a very tense scene for how short it is.
And also, just, I don't know if it's just really funny because it's really kind of sad, but just, I've never been brave enough to admit that I'm a coward. It's just, oh. Like, obviously it hits properly. It didn't make me laugh when I was watching it, but like,
yeah, like
in thinking about it, it's a really good scene. But it kind of, like I said, it kind of plays into what I was saying earlier, where May probably has been internalizing a lot of Johnny, just kind of skating around the truth, not really telling her.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of her anger comes from. Because she wants him to be honest, but she doesn't know that he knows she hasn't been honest. So
such a strange, it's a strange dynamic to have.
But I also just think it's the my pain's worse than your pain type situation where neither of them are really.
But the thing is here, for like I don't think he has like a proper time to reel it in, because the police get in and like close down the rave quite quickly after.
Yeah, exactly. So they have to like run off.
Johnny starts to deal with his emotions a little outside of the rave, before he tries to kiss Neve, who is obviously upset by this. Johnny pulls out pills, but Neve confiscates them before they're approached by the police. Johnny starts mouthing off as Neve tries to calm him down, but the second he tells the officer to get his hands off him, The copper searches their pockets. It's fine for Johnny, but for Neve, she carries all of the pills. She gets arrested as Johnny looks like a coward.
Timmy is at the station and questions Johnny as he is let out first, but she essentially tells him to piss off as she is worried for her baby sister. Neve gets out and reveals that she had a caution. Timmy is furious and knows that they were Johnny's pills, and that she was taking the flak despite the fact that Johnny probably would have gotten off lighter. The fact that he talked back to the police officer, despite that it was her future on the line. I say this, we can just emphasize this in the fact of, Johnny was still mouthing off to the officer, and even when the officer's like share your pocket, or like spill your pockets, Johnny just kind of goes, yeah, and just pulls them out in like a lavish way. But the second Neve pulls them out, he just looks on sheepishly like a coward. Neve is reminded who she is and is told to look out for herself rather than look after Johnny, as she pledges to live her life and be herself. It's a reality check and a stark reminder that no one is going to look after yourself better than you. Louis talks to Zaya and apologizes about Louis 2.0, also having learned that you don't have to change who you are to be liked. He tells Zaya that he doesn't want to be just friends, and asks if she wants to be mates instead. In this situation, I'm trying to figure out whether Zaya wanted Louis to ask her out again, or not. But I can't really read Zaya. I don't really know what she's thinking. Like, she doesn't really show much. But they still at least continue, and they just enjoy each other's company. Neve goes to see a teacher from earlier. She redid her essay and then decides, you know what, I don't want to be the token face of the sixth form. This is step 1 in her reclaiming her identity and being proud of herself. Reagan joins Johnny, who offers a smoke, but it's way too early for her. She apologizes about May and tries to go, yeah, Johnny, do you want to talk about it? But he then starts to smoke and then distracts himself by running after Neve, who stands up for herself and doesn't fall back under his charms. At the salon, she undergoes a makeover and surprises Timmy and her family with her natural hair. Step 2 in reclaiming her identity. They're closer as a family, and Neve looks so much happier because, like I said, take the step she took to actually try reclaim herself. She now is wearing her natural hair and is actually being a strong, intelligent woman, which kind of suffered when she was just yearning after Johnny. She would make a lot of exceptions and she would just kind of not really stand up for what she actually wanted to do. So, it's pretty good. It's a really poignant scene, and it's a good sign for Neve, as it seems like she is gonna start to mend a little bit. Now that she's actually comprehended the fact that maybe Johnny doesn't have her best interests at mind, it's a good thing to have down. Now that she goes, the only one who's gonna look after me is me or my family. May is still looking at Johnny's Dark Days page as he is pissed and high in a shop. Monologuing about how much of a failure he thinks he is, he clutches at his heart and realizes that he fucking hates himself. As he has a panic attack in the middle of the supermarket, and we pan out. I will also say it made me anxious as to how long angle this shot is, as this shot, just with the camera work alone, depicts how isolated Johnny currently is. Man, what an episode.
Know who I really am. I fucking hate myself.
And that was episode 4 of Tell Me Everything. I'd argue a significantly more darker episode, even more so than episode 3. But I think this episode truly managed to turn it into a really good episode.
I have this is my episode's theory going into the next final 2 episodes. The next episode is going to be the most depressing one yet, and then the final episode is to be when Johnny actually gets help for his problems. Okay. It's going to be quite a happy episode.
I suppose just do some quick fire. What does Louis do?
He becomes more friendly with Zaya.
Does he not find someone at the gym or something, or do some more raves? Is he back to normal?
Nah, he's normal Louis because that's what Zaya likes, and he wants Zaya to like him.
All right. What does Reagan do? We still don't know what.
Fuck all. Like she's done for the rest of the series.
How does May react to...
She probably just goes. I don't know actually what she does. To be honest with you, she had this kind of pivot in her character when she's trying to like. She's done so much wrong. I don't know if she's going to eventually break down or not.
Yeah. Is Johnny getting better so far? Or is...
Not till episode 6. In episode 6, he will finally get help, and everyone will be friends again. I think next episode, he's not like. I think the next episode is going to be mainly Johnny by himself until at the very end, where he eventually breaks down to Louis and Neve.
And I suppose, what's ranking for the episode, like score-wise?
Oh, what did I give the last one?
The last one was a 7.5.
That's probably that's what I enjoyed this a lot more because of the kind of darker twist to it that I didn't really expect to come in this episode.
Yeah.
So if I had to, I'd probably give this a 8.3 out of 10.
Yeah, I was gonna put it on parallel with the first episode because it's not the same tonally, but this is where they fully figured out how to. If you like the series, this episode everything clicks properly. Like this blends the funny tone, but the darker tone of being a teenager and the anxiety and all that nonsense. This blends it all together, and this is what gives the show like a lot of depth and meaning. So yeah, I was gonna give it like 8.5.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as the first episode, so I'd just give it 2 notches down. But I think it's pretty damn good.
I think it's just as good, but they're both very good in different ways. And that was episode 4 of Tell Me Everything. We've been easily entertained. I've been Ash.
I've been Slater.
Make sure to actually share the word because Tell Me Everything has been critically underpromoted and undervalued by TV. So go ahead and give it some love. I know I have. Thank you for joining us and join us next week for episode 5 of Tell Me Everything.